Hello and welcome to another feature-length production on The Feeling. This one is on a mercifully simple sound, which is this bass that goes alongside the harpsichord. So I'll play it. Although there was absolutely no point in me playing it because you just heard it a second ago. That's the whole point of the new intro, but never mind. Let's do it anyway. Now this was the very first song I put in the whole entire project. This was the first sound I made. Open hammer. Pitch it down 2 octaves. Add 3 voices of unison. Disable pan. And turn pitch and phase up to maybe 2/3 of the way. Change the harmonic unison pitch shape. Add a fast unison pitch thickness envelope. Add a little bit of rubber distortion. Add a volume envelope. Add a Maximus. Turn down the low a little bit and add a jazzy upwards downwards compression shape in the mid section. Add a transient processor. Finally, add EQ. So, I knew that I was going for a bass, so first things first, whoops, bang, 2 octaves down. I added a little bit of, unison, because generally it's not a good idea to have stereo bass. Turn that bad boy right down. Turned pitch up a little, but I suppose other than that it was about just pretty much the default. Now, the only reason I did unison is because there was 2 other settings I was going to change, and that is harmonic unison pitch. So, if you didn't already know, what harmonic unison pitch is basically, imagine frequency in the x-axis, and this is like the pitch slider for that specific frequency. So you can have, less unison pitch difference with these frequencies and more with these frequencies, which is very jazzy indeed. So a lot of the time, if you're making a super saw, it's a good idea to do that sort of shape. But I am getting off topic. All I really did here was something along the lines of just messing around. So if I find the original wherever it is, I can find the exact shape that I used. But really I was just messing around trying to get something basically random. That is what I happen to use. So let's get rid of all these and try and make it vaguely similar. So you notice that as all the different frequencies get out of phase with each other, you get this really weird squishy effect, which sounds very nice with a bass, I think. Next was the unison pitch thickness. Now all I did here is just go like that. Because I don't think it's that nice to have this much unison on a bass, because I wanted something a lot simpler, something to just play a solid note. So with unison pitch thickness, this is basically just the pitch slider here. So if it starts on and then quickly goes down, what happens is, while unison pitch thickness is on, they're all different pitches, so they all slowly drift apart in like phase. So basically having it on for a second gives everything time to drift apart a bit, and then it stops moving once it gets to here. So basically from here onwards, as the sound plays, it's just solid and boring and not like wide and unison-y. So you still get some unison-ness because they all have time to drift apart basically. I suppose I might as well look at the original, see exactly what I did. Yeah, something like that. It's not really important that it's exactly the same, but whatever. Once I've done that, time for distortion. Bit of rubber. I think it was kind of sort of like that. And the last thing I'm missing is a volume envelope. Right, so that does it for the actual hammer. So now it's time for the effects. Righty, very first effect was a Maximus. All I did was turn the low right down and do what I talked about in a previous video. I think it was the last one, which was on the harpsichords. Oh, whatever, I talked about it in one of the 2 previous videos where you do this sort of shape because it's kind of similar to OTT. So other than that, I didn't really do anything. Next was transient processor, which is probably the most important effect in the whole chain, because there's kind of some annoying release at the end, which I suppose I could mess with the envelope to get that totally right, but finally was some EQ, which was very simple. It's something along the lines of, yeah, this sort of thing, so something like that. That's it. For some reason it sounds quite different. Anyway, I did some poking around and found out why they sound different, and that is because the EQ shape is kind of wrong. It should be sort of more like that. This is the original I'm playing right now, by the way. Also, these unison settings here are really, really fiddly. If you change them the tiniest amount, then the sound changes a lot. So I'll demonstrate that in a moment. But also, the volume envelope had a little bit of release on the end of it. So very, very short decay all the way down to 0, and then a little bit of release on the end. And so now if you change the unison settings a tiny bit, good luck getting it back to how it was. Okay, I just got it back to how it was. But the point is, yeah, it's the unison's fault, basically. But anyway, that does it for that sound. That was it. The next video is probably going to be shorter than 2 minutes because it's on the lifters, which is an identical copy of the Don't Mess and the Banana Loaf lifter videos, but never mind. See you for that.